What's up, guys? Today is November 16th, 2019. It's a Saturday, and I thought I'd start by finally showcasing my entire game collection, and we're going to start right here with the Nintendo Switch. Now, I absolutely love this console. This console is amazing. I play it a lot in handheld mode. Right now, my two Joy-Cons right now are not in the best of shape. I am having drifting problems with both these controllers, but I am playing with my my blue and red that it came with. I got the neon bundle. Nothing special. It is a version 2. I do recommend if you're going after a Switch. I have had the Switch Lite in my hands, and I'll say it's a good option if you want to go that way. We don't know about the drifting that's going to be maybe possibly present in the future, but keep an eye out on that. But I would say I recommend the version 2. This has better battery life, and it is the way to go. So first off, let's go and start with what's obviously on the screen. Zelda Link's Awakening. Now, this game I personally got when I was younger for the Game Boy Color. I got the DX version, and it's everything I wanted in a Switch game. It's brilliant. It's gorgeous to look at. A lot of people complain about the image blur around the outsides. To tell you the truth, the biggest issue with this game is the little bit of frame dropping that's persistent throughout certain screens and from certain areas. It's nothing that, as a longtime gamer, that really drives me nuts. But it's really good. It's really solid. If you played the original, you gotta pick this one up. It's a brilliant game. It's Zelda. I think there's enough said about that. So next, we're gonna move on to Aegis Defender. I picked this up from Limited Run. I played this when I first got my Switch back in March of this year. This is one of the games that I downloaded. They actually had a demo, and I thoroughly enjoyed everything that I had played. And then I come to find out that I think Shovel Knight is somewhat of a character in this, and I had to have it. It is a kind of strategy, tower defense, kind of that old pixelated, 16-bit kind of look to it, and everything about it is pretty fun. I've probably put 3 to 4 hours into the game, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. It's a really fun game, and if you can get your hands on a copy now, obviously you can get it on the eShop or the Nintendo shop, but if you go and pick up an actual copy, it might cost you a little bit more than, I believe it was $30 when it came out on when Limited Run dropped it for pre-order. So it might cost you $5-10 more, but this is definitely a game to look out for, and I definitely recommend it. So next we have Mega Man 11. Now, I am a huge Mega Man fan. That's to be said. I have everything from back when I was a kid, the original Bandai toys. I've played pretty much all the games up until the point where it got a little ridiculous with the, Mega Man X7, X8, something around there. I've played most of them. I own X, X2, X3 for Super Nintendo. I have all the originals for Nintendo. Mega Man has been one of my favorite series, and I believe they did a pretty good job coming back with 11. I think it's not quite what I want from it, but it is pretty good. It's very hard if you try to just play this going through the game, but they do give you, there's a lot of neat features from where they give you. There's a shop where you can get extra lives, and that you can slide less on the ice level. There are power-ups where you can get beat and he'll save you, and there's, take less damage, all that kind of good stuff. I think it's a pretty good game, and I think you can get it for relatively cheap now. I think it runs anywhere from $15 to $20, even for a new copy. If you can find it at GameStop, I think they're selling it really cheap. So it's actually a really good bargain game to go and pick up for the Switch if you're looking to get anything. So keep that in mind. Mega Man 11, it's a pretty solid title. Another one that we have is from Limited Run, and I had to pick this up. Bomb Chicken. It's really unique. So basically what you do is you go through and you can't do much other than lay bombs. And there is no jumping in the game. How you move vertically is by laying bombs. So he'll stack bombs one after another, and that's how you move. So basically kind of like a puzzle game, and you work your way through these mazes by using laying bombs. You go vertically. You can also push the bombs. So basically you go from left to right with your bombs, and it's definitely a beautiful game. It's definitely one that another one from Limited Run that you can't get right now. You can get it on the shop, but if you want it physical, it might cost you 5 to 10 more than what it actually came out at. But it's definitely one that I recommend. Gorgeous graphics. It's got everything. Like I like that old school look, man. Nothing beats that 8-bit, 16-bit look to games, and the Switch definitely has its hands in on the indies right now. It's the way to go. So we're gonna look at this one as another limited run game, and that's Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Curse of the Moon is obviously a another harken back to Castlevania, and with Konami on the fritz and they don't know what they're doing these days, this is as close as you're going to get to a really good Castlevania game, and one that pretty much mimics Castlevania 3 for the Nintendo. It's as good as it gets. It's nothing like, I like the series when they hit on the DS. I think Portrait of Ruin and Order of Ecclesia and what's the other one? Jeez, I can't think of it right now. But those are probably some of my favorite Castlevania games. But when I played this, I seen this back on the 3DS's eShop. And I was like, oh, you know what? They got it for the Switch. And when I finally do pick up a Switch, I'll probably get it. So when I got my Switch in March, I believe this was right around the same time that this was dropping on Limited Run. And I knew I had to have it physically. I'm just a physical guy. So it was a no-brainer to go and pick this one up. So if you like Castlevania, this is definitely one to put in your collection. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Next on the list is Enter the Gungeon. Now I got the just basic version that I got from my local GameStop. They did, however, on I think Special Reserve offered Enter the Gungeon, and it had a few different things that came with it. Mine obviously came with the bulletkin that it's a papercraft, I believe. You go and set that up, but the artwork on the Special Reserve version was a lot better. It was something that I wish I would have gotten that version of it, but I ended up with this version, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's Enter the Gungeon. Anybody who's played it, it's a roguelite. It's a really good game. You got to go and check that one out. Next is a game that I got around the same time, which was Hollow Knight. Everybody raved about Hollow Knight. I've put a few hours into Hollow Knight, and there's just something about it that, I think a lot of people overhyped this game. It's good. It's solid. I like the artwork. I liked what I played so far. There's some things I don't like. There's some things I do like. It was a little bit of a letdown, and I didn't let myself down. I listened to a lot of people on this one that raved about this game. It is fun. It has a dark atmosphere. It's different. But it's not the cat's meow. It's good. It's good, and I do recommend it. I definitely recommend it. And it's one of those games that I believe is $30-$35 right now. And that's what it was when it came out. So, and you can get this at GameStop. It's a good game, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. I listened to too many people rave about this one, and it did let me down a little bit. Like I said, I've only gotten myself maybe a few hours in, but it's pretty unique. It's definitely something to check out, but don't go thinking it's Game of the Year material, because that's what I kind of thought with everybody that was raving about it. But it is fun. I will say it is fun. Go ahead, pick it up, try it for yourself, and see what Hollow Knight has to offer. The next is a game that everybody should have for the Switch, and that is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This game is clearly a beast with all the characters that are in it, with the characters that are coming out. I believe Terry Beauregard was just released not too long ago. And I try to stay away from the DLC stuff. It kind of bums me out that the DLC stuff is not in the game. And I understand that they put a lot of work into creating all these characters and all these move sets that, they want to get the game out, and they offer those characters on the side. And they're not too expensive. But in a fighting game, I think a fighting game should have everything out right from the get-go. With that said, I still don't mind it. I probably will pick up the characters down the line at some point, but this game is definitely the best Smash Brothers that you can get on any console. A lot of people are firm on, they like the Melee for GameCube, I believe. I was always one for the 3DS version was probably my favorite, and I still like the 3DS version. I never played the Wii U version, which is identical, it's basically the same, but this game takes the cake, man. I mean, you can play 8 players on your tiny Switch if you want, if you have the controllers. It's incredible. It's incredible. And with the roster of characters, they finally put Ridley in. I mean, Ridley was pissed and moaned about for the longest time, and rightfully so. I mean, rightfully so. But then you got King K. Rool. I mean, you got other characters. The Belmont's in this game. Richter's in this game. I mean, they just went all out with the character roster, and you can't beat it. You can't beat Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's definitely a must own for the Switch if you're looking to buy one. Next is a Natsume game, and that's going to be Wild Guns Reloaded. I had to get Wild Guns Reloaded. I do not have Wild Guns for the Super Nintendo, which is a pricey game, so I did the next best thing and got it for the Switch. Switch adds 2 more characters, which the Super Nintendo version did not have, and it's relatively decent, at a decent price right now. I think it sits at around $20 used. And I think you might still be able to buy this brand new on like an Amazon or something like that. I don't think you can find it at a GameStop or anything like that. But if you go on eBay or you go to Amazon, I think you're going to pay around $20 to $30. And I think it sits at 20 used. So, and this is definitely a shorter game. Kind of, it's basically just an up, graphically enhanced a little bit. It looks a little bit better than the Super Nintendo version did. Add a few characters here and there. It works beautifully on the Switch. You can play 1 to 4 players. Not much more can really be said about it. It's a great game, and go ahead and check Wild Guns Reloaded out. Next is a game that I had on my Xbox One, and then I initially missed this game, and it made me sad because I absolutely loved this game. I put a lot of hours into this game, and that is Flinthook. Flinthook limited run came out with this. I had to have it, and I had to wait until I could find it at a decent price. And I got it new, and I actually paid pretty close to what it was when it retailed on Limited Run's website. This is a must-play for any roguelite fan. I can't even stress. I absolutely love the mechanics in here, how you can fling yourself around, and when you finally learn how to play this game, you can just be a master of platforming. It's just got everything that I wanted. Roguelites are kind of in. It's something that, a genre that I really like right now, and Flinthook delivers in every aspect. It is short. If you're really good, if you start out really good at the game, you can probably get through it really quick. The first time I played through it, it took me a while to get everything down, and I put some hours into it. And there are some things that, they could have extended it a bit. They could have made some more enemies here and there, and it could have made it a little bit better, but the music, the graphics, just everything about it, it is a fantastic game, and I absolutely recommend either downloading this one, picking up the physical copy. Do not miss out on Flinthook. This is a fantastic game. Next, we have Dragon Quest Builders 2. This one's got reversible artwork too, and I did go and flip that around because I liked that artwork on the outside. This is a fantastic game. I mean, Dragon Quest, it's great to see that Dragon Quest is finally doing very well here in the West. in the States, it's finally catching on. Dragon Quest 11 came out not too long ago. It's a game I don't have in my collection right now that I do want to put in, but I would definitely recommend this game. This is like a Minecraft meets Dragon Quest Builders, you know, or Dragon Quest. And I'm not too fond of Minecraft, but this game really hits that sweet spot. It's got, you know, that whimsical music that you're familiar with the Dragon Quest series, and it's definitely a game to check out. I've probably put it close into 20 hours, and to be honest with you, I haven't gotten very far in the game because I've just been kind of building up that main area that they kind of start you off in. And, you know, I've heard that you kind of get away from those areas, and it's not what you think in terms of building, and that when you come back to your things that you've built. But you know, if you get lost in it, and that's what you like, more power to you, man, because this was fun. I haven't played it in about a couple months, but it was definitely something that I just binge played big time. It was something that I got into and just rolled with it, man. It's fun. It's something you got to check out. Dragon Quest Builders 2, definitely a game to check out. Let's go on to the next one, which is another limited run game, and that is going to be River City Girls. I have always been a big fan of the Kunio-kun series, and this is fantastic. I think this is probably one of their prettiest games, and Way Forward did this. So if you know Way Forward, they do quality. Shantae, they've always put out quality. So this is no less on this one. And I have the two River City games for the 3DS, which was Tokyo Rumble and Showdown, or I can't remember what the other name was, but those were fantastic games. River City Ransom was fantastic. I believe Renegade for Nintendo is still amongst the Kunio series, so this is definitely one that if you're interested in those games and you like the way River City Ransom plays, if you like those way those games play, this is definitely one not to miss. And I like that they shifted to the girls. They have great personality. I've probably gotten halfway through the game, and this is definitely one not to be missed. I believe you can't get the limited run one anymore. Obviously, the pre-orders are up. It's been shipped out, but I do believe Best Buy is carrying this one. I believe it runs $34.99, so $34.99, and whatever your tax is, that's what you're gonna pay out the door for this. But this is definitely a pretty game. It's got that Super Nintendo look to it, that old 8-bit 16-bit style of graphics. If you like that, the old retro look, it's what I like. This is definitely one not to miss. River City Girls is very fun, so go ahead and check that one out as well. And then we're gonna move on to this one, which this was what really got me on my Switch. I wanted this for a long time. I watched and waited for this game to come out, and I was initially going to get this on the Vita. When I found out that it was also coming on the Switch and Limited Run was doing it, I had to get it. I missed the pre-order, and I couldn't believe I missed the pre-order, but I got lucky, and we ended up with a copy that wasn't too terribly overpriced. I probably paid close to $10 over what I should have for it, but this was one that I had to have. I remember seeing the first trailer that Cognac went and released, and I thought it was fantastic. I knew I had to have the game, and it was a one-man team, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting for this one to come out. Probably halfway through the game, it's pretty good. It's got that retro look that I love to it. If you like that kind of stuff, this is right up your alley. Metroidvania, definitely a game to check out. One of my highlights in my collection that I do like. I got to get back to it and start playing it and finish it, and I hear nothing but great things about the ending, so it's definitely something I look forward to finishing, but I would definitely recommend it. Through what I played so far, the mechanics are pretty fun. She's got a wrench. She goes to town, and there's this whole story about people fixing. It's a kind of a political story, and her fixing things that they don't want fixed, and it's got a uniqueness to it. So definitely check out Iconoclasts. Next is another limited run game, and this is a game that everybody probably is familiar with. If you're not, it's Freedom Planet, and this plays like Sonic the Hedgehog. Just a bit, it's a bit different, but definitely has that Sonic feel to it. A little bit more involved with the story. There's definitely a lot more to it. I think it flows a lot better than Sonic, to be honest with you. Sonic, to me, always felt like he's supposed to be super fast, but they want to stop you every, 5 seconds, 10 seconds of that flow. This, to me, feels like it doesn't do that. It feels like it's got a lot better of a flow to it. I mean, you go from one side to the next, and you can kind of pop off your enemies and do what you got to do. Whereas I feel like later Sonic games finally got it kind of under wraps of, homing in on your enemies, hitting them, and keep moving so that the flow would continue. But Freedom Planet does it pretty good here. Now, like I said, it does have that story element to it, so it does feel a little bit different. But this is definitely a game to check out if you like Sonic the Hedgehog, and if you've never heard of this, Freedom Planet is definitely worth it. Next is a game I haven't put too much time into, and it's kind of funny because I have a 3DS version, a digital version, and the Cave Story Plus. Cave Story is a game that everybody raves about. I haven't put too much time into it, probably only put an hour into the game. One day I'll sit down and finally get into this, but it's Cave Story. If you haven't heard of Cave Story, it's definitely one that a lot of people will tell you is a really good game. I just personally haven't gotten into it, but Cave Story is another one to check out, and it's relatively cheap. I think you can get it for around $15 to $20. So next is another limited run game that I was going to unbox on my channel. I didn't get to it. I got held up, and the better part of me got going, and I unboxed it myself. I had to play it. It's a game that I played as a kid on my Sega CD. It's Double Switch. Corey Haim, Arlie Ermy, not exactly what her name is, but there's a few more actors in there that are known. And it is a full motion video game on the likes of what I'm about to show you here in a second. This is probably number 2 out of the full motion video games personally that I like. It's a lot harder than the other that I'm going to explain here in a second, but if you like full motion video games, this is probably number 2 in that category, and it's one that I really recommend. I had to get it. Like I said, I got it on the Sega CD, and it's one of my more nostalgic games for the Sega CD, since a lot of the games that we played on the Sega CD were full motion video games. It was never the good stuff. We didn't play the good stuff. I played all the crummy stuff on Sega CD, but for some reason this one sticks with me, and it's a really good game. I like the story. I like the cheese factor of it. It's really a game to look out for, and if you can pick this up for a reasonable price, around $40, go ahead and pick it up. It's pretty good. I like it. Next, we have what I was talking about, and that's Night Trap. Another limited run. I didn't get this when it was released on their website. I had to go hunt it down, but I got a really reasonable price on it. Didn't pay too much over what they were initially offering it for with the shipping, so I was really happy. Now this, out of the 2 full motion games, Double Switch and Night Trap, this is the better game. This is the way to go. This is what caused the ESRB ratings as we know it today. This was partial of a reason of why this got created in the first place, and this game is fantastic. I beat this game through and through. I absolutely love it. I adore it, especially as a horror fan. You cannot beat this game. This is something I remember playing as a 6-year-old, and I just couldn't get over what I was watching. There's a very huge creep factor with the augers and just the way this game runs. There's something special about this, and from what I hear, they're actually making a sequel. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition, but I hope they do, because Night Trap is probably one of my favorite all-time games. It just sits there. There's some, maybe it's nostalgic. It's nostalgia. I don't know, but this is definitely one game that you have to check out if you've never heard of Night Trap. Definitely go and pick this up for the Switch. Next is PixelJunk Monsters, and this is another limited run game. Now, there's the case, but what we did is we actually got lucky, and we have a local shop in Michigan, and I believe there's some in Indiana, and I don't know if there's some in Illinois or not, but basically I got this sucker at Disc Replay, and this was the special edition that I ended up scoring. Now, I don't buy the limited editions on limited run. I go with the cheaper versions just because I did the whole limited edition, special edition thing back on the 3DS, and it didn't pan out. I love my special editions, but just the money, what they, double the price of the game is just not worth it for me at this point. And I ended up getting this one at Disc Replay they had it priced for $40. I had a 20% off. I had game credit. So at the end of the day, I think out of pocket, after all my stuff that I had found and traded in, it really only cost me about $4 to $5. And I said, you know what? I heard good things about PixelJunk Monsters 2. I gotta go and pick this one up. So basically, we got the special edition, and the special edition comes with a steel book. And the steel book's pretty. I'm not gonna pull that out right now. I've only put a little bit of time into this one. It's a tower defense game. It is a rather neat tower defense game. It's got that claymation look to it, kind of like how the Link's Awakening does here. It kind of unique. Like I said, only put a little bit of time into it, but the hour or so, 2 hours, I think, that I put into it, it was pretty fun for a tower defense game. And tower defense games aren't my, go-to, but it was definitely neat. And like I said, I couldn't pass this up. It was sitting in there sealed for $40. It goes for online at least 65, 70. So at the end of the day, with the discount and everything, I couldn't pass that up. It was sitting there. Had my name on it, so I went and picked it up. Next, we got Tiny Barbarian DX. Now, this game I've put a few hours into, and I really liked what I was playing. It's got that, another old school vibe to it. I don't know what you could compare it to. There's one that's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't, like a Ghosts and Goblins almost. Maybe not as hard as a Ghosts and Goblins, but it's definitely unique. It's got its, own little personal traits that make it exciting, and it is what it is. It's Tiny Barbarian DX. Not much more I could say about that other than it's a pretty good game, and you should check it out. Next on the list is what I've reviewed. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It's Wargroove. Wargroove. I've been putting a couple hours into this, and man, am I happy that I purchased this one. This one is a fun game. It is definitely Advance Wars. More so than Fire Emblem, and I'm happy for that, because Advance Wars has been absent, and this is definitely one to check out. Wargroove. You see my unboxing, go check it out. $40. Wargroove, definitely worth it. This is just a case. I do not have the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I went and picked that up and then took it back, made a few dollars on it, so it worked out. I've played it. It's a really good game. Obviously, it's Mario Kart. Everybody knows Mario Kart's simply amazing, so go and check that out. Steamworld Dig 2. I haven't put too much time into this. I think I got about 75% of the way through the first one, and I loved it for the 3DS. I had to pick it up for the Switch because a lot of people raved on this one. I haven't put too much time, maybe a half hour into it, because I didn't want to play through it until I beat the first one, so I got to go back and play Steamworld Dig. Then I'll come back and revisit this, but from what I seen because I always pop my games in when I get them, so like I said, I put a half hour into it. Not much to really have any say on it, but it's definitely, from what I hear, a really good game, so go and check that out. It's another reasonable, cheap game that you can go get. It's a really solid title, so go ahead and check Steamworld Dig 2 out. Next, we're going to go with Toki, and Toki is another one I got super lucky, and GameStop has these right now for $9.99 if you can still find them in store. And that comes with the bundle, the Retro Collector Edition, which comes with, I don't know if they showed this on the back. Let me flip this around. It comes with the arcade stand. Now, I actually have another one sitting right next to me. And actually, this is the first one that I bought, and I paid, I think, $14 for this on Mercari just to get this. They didn't have the game. So when GameStop reduced theirs down to $10, we had one left in the area, and I knew I had to go and pick this up. I have Toki for the NES. I loved it back then. With the remaster of everything and the different art style that they went with this time around, it looks gorgeous. I think I got onto the third or fourth world. It's very easy, simple game, very quick. Is it worth $40-50? Not really. The $10 mark was right where I wanted to jump into, especially with this. I think it's worth $20 because I think the arcade stand alone that you can put your Switch into is worth the $10 alone. So if you can find this for $20 and under, I'd say jump on it. If you can still get it at GameStop for $9.99, definitely go jump on it. It's worth the $10 in my opinion. It's definitely one to go check out. So Toki is a must play. Maybe not a buy for too much money. Stay under that $20 mark, but it's definitely, you got to play Toki. Next is Owlboy. This is what I'm currently playing right now. Owlboy is what I'm currently playing since, like I said, I got my Switch in March. I was behind with everything that the Switch had to offer, and this is one that I got maybe, I think, last week. I was dying to play this. I heard nothing but good things about it, and I'll tell you what, I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I think I'm about 4 hours in or so. Just past the, I think the pirate ships, they came. I don't know if it's about 4 hours in or not, but the pirate ships came, and the story picks up. This is definitely unique. I love the graphical style, love the music, I love the way the story was going with this, and you know, I look forward to beating this. Like I said, this is one I'm currently on. Owlboy for the Switch. Definitely go pick it up right now. It's sitting, I think you can go and get it like Walmart's for $20 if they still have it, like Target's. It's relatively cheap. Don't pay any more than $20. I got my copy for $8 at my disc replay. So go ahead and check Owlboy out. Next is BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Now this game is kind of funny because we had the credit at my local disc replay, and it was something that was supposed to be used for bills, but then the girlfriend talked me into getting this because I'm a big BlazBlue fan, but it had Ruby in it, and that's why she had to have me pick this up. She wanted to play it with me. Even though she's not into video games at all, she's into Ruby, and she's like, you gotta get it, you gotta get it. And I'll tell you what, this is a gorgeous looking fighting game on the Switch. I'll be honest, this is pretty. I thought it would be have a little bit of that blurriness that some of these games have, that they're not, you know, they don't look very sharp. But I'll tell you what, this game it's just as good as any of the other BlazBlue games that I've played. Now, granted, you're playing on, you know, Switch controllers, and I don't have my arcade stick that I used to play my fighting games with. That's, you know, that's Xbox stuff, but it works. It's fast, it's fluid, it looks good, sounds good. Obviously, BlazBlue games are amazing. Arc System works. Nothing but good things to say about them. If you're into fighting games, this is definitely one to pick up. Next, we have, I think, yes, it's the last limited run game that I have, and that's Mercenary Kings Reloaded Edition. This is a game that I seen that kind of looked like a Metal Slug meets like a Metroidvania type style game, and from everything that I had seen, I knew that this was one that I wanted to pick up physical. I didn't want to get it on the shop, and I put a few hours into it, and it was a little different than what I thought it would be. It is good, but it can get repetitive. It's something that you should check out if you like the Metal Slug series. And I do got a soft spot for the Metal Slug series, but I think I believe the same person who did the artwork. I think he did some comics, and I'm almost positive this is the same guy that did the artwork for the Scott Pilgrim game, which is a game that I absolutely adore. So this was a no-brainer to pick up. Like I said, if you like Metal Slug type stuff, go ahead and check this out. It's a little bit more, I think, RPG-ish, more stats, more stuff like that. So, there's a side to it. So if you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and check Mercenary Kings out. Skylanders Imaginators. Now, I know not everybody's going to love this, but I'll be honest, I have a big soft spot for Skylanders, and especially Skylanders Imaginators. I've been with the series from the very beginning. Obviously, Skylanders is dead now. Toys to Life is dead. But this was a game I had to pick up simply because you can have your entire collection on the go. Whereas if you play it on the Xbox One, sure, it looks a lot better. It looks hands down better. But the reason I got this was because I could put this in, I could load up my entire collection, which I've yet to do, and then you could take it on the go without taking a single toy with you. And I'll be honest, this is one of the best adventure games, to be honest, on the system. I don't, you might say that the Spiral collection, the Crash collection might beat this. You got New Super Lucky's Tale dropped, and you could say that might be better than this, or A Hat in Time with Hat Kid. That could be better than this, but I've played the demo of Lucky's Tale, and while that was fun, there's something about this game that I absolutely love. Being able to create your own characters, being able to run through all those environments. They don't look as good as the Xbox One version, but just the sheer being able to take this wherever you go with all your whole collection loaded up, just nothing beats that. So go ahead and check that out. I think it's getting more pricey too, to be honest with you. It's going up in price because I believe this was a launch game, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of people are looking for this one, and it's kind of hard to find. So go ahead and check that out while you can before it gets too pricey. Last but not least, we got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I am obviously an old man now, and I started my Pokemon journey on Red and Blue. And this is a nice, I didn't have a Switch before March of this year, and I didn't follow this, and I had no idea this was gonna be as good as it was. Now, I haven't gotten probably halfway through, and then since I got my new Switch, obviously a lot of stuff, I lost my save data on it, so I haven't gotten back into it. But I think I had made it to the third gym, and I was thoroughly impressed. The only thing that really upset me was the fact that you can't go and fight wild Pokemon. That all your Pokemon battles either take place with trainers or the gym leaders, and I didn't like that about it. It kind of makes it a little weird to me, a little bit off the main series, but that's what it is. That's why it's called Let's Go Pikachu. So, but going back to the original region, I absolutely loved it. I thought Pokemon roaming around was amazing. So obviously, nothing has to be really said about this. It's a great game. Go ahead and check that out. Obviously, Pokemon Sword and Shield just dropped. What, yesterday? Yesterday. So a lot of people are going to be checking that out. Definitely gotta add that Pokemon Sword or Shield to my collection. A few games I need here or there, but it's pretty much it. That's pretty much my stack of games, my collection for the Nintendo Switch. I hope you enjoyed. Actually, if you want to, what we can do is we're going to take a look really quick at what I actually have digitally. And you know what? Like I said, my Joy-Cons on these ones are giving me drift. So we're going to use these. And I'll take a little quick look at what I have digitally. Okay, so not too much. I think I have about 20 or 30 games digitally, but we'll go through them real quick. Mad Age. Mad Age actually went on sale not too long ago, so I picked that up for like 4 cents, 5, 6 cents. I played maybe about a half hour into it. It's a puzzle game, has that old retro style. I absolutely adored it for the time that I played it. I don't think it's on sale anymore, but if it does go on sale for 5 cents, 6 cents, go ahead and pick that up. That was well worth the money that I spent. Anodyne. Anodyne plays like a Game Boy Color game, and I was really getting into that before, you know, all the other games came out that I've been playing. I hopped from one to the other, what can I say? But Anodyne was really fun. Mutant Mudds, everybody should know. Mutant Mudds is a great game. I picked that up when it was on sale. Miles and Kilo. Miles and Kilo was a really fun, I don't even know how it's like a runner game, almost like, what was it, 8-Bit Runner, or whatever that game's called, 8-Trip Saga, or what, I can't remember, but that's what it plays like. You run from the left to the right, you finish a stage, and that's basically how it runs. There's a few boss battles in it here and there. It's a rather cheap game, rather short, but well worth the time. Sword of Ditto pretty much plays like a Legend of Zelda game, and I did beat it. It went on sale, I think, about a few weeks back, about a month ago. It was on sale for 50%, which I was waiting for, and I picked it up, and I had no regrets on that one. That was a beautiful game. That was a really solid game, and the way that once you beat it and you go into your second run of the game, I kind of like how they flow it that way, and it's definitely a game to pick up and go check out. Now this one is what is it, Yo-Yo Blasters. This is like a shmup, and it's maybe not the most pretty game that you can get on the system, but I definitely enjoy it. I definitely love the customization, the amount of characters that you can pick for it. It's definitely one to go and check out. Bastion. Bastion is a game that I wish would come physical, but they haven't made it yet. It's another game that went on sale. I paid next to nothing for it, and I said, you know what, for that amount of money, I will put it on my Switch all day long. Played a few hours into it, but I've beaten it before on my, I believe it was Xbox 360 back when that came out. So I've already had my time with it. I nothing but good things to say about Bastion. Go ahead and pick that one up. Hive Jump. Put a little bit of time into that. Controls are a little wonky. You got to get used to them. But other than that, it was a pretty decent game. It has a little bit of strategy element into it. And then you go in and you go and clear out the alien hives and whatnot. And it's a pretty decent game. So we go down, and what do we have left on here? Gato Roboto. Oh my god. Go check this game out. This game is an amazing Metroidvania style game. It's in a monochrome black and white. You can switch throughout the game. You'll find these little cards or chips that let you switch the colors. Nothing too amazing. It still has like a monochrome look to it, whatever colors you kind of pick through. Kind of like almost what the original Game Boy Color, when you went and cycled through the special selection screen, all those different palettes. It has the different palettes. So it's a fantastic game. You're a cat in a robot. What else can I say about it? It's fantastic. Mana Sparks is another roguelite. Mana Sparks is okay. It's not the best roguelite I've ever played, but it's worth checking out, especially if it goes on sale again. It's another game that I didn't pay too much for, and it's definitely worth the money if it goes on sale for. One More Jump. I haven't played it in a while. Couldn't tell you exactly what that one was about. Zeo Drifter is a phenomenal game by Renegade Kid. No longer called Renegade Kid. I believe Jules is going by a TUI now. But definitely Zeo Drifter is one to look out for, especially if you have your 3DS. If you go get the 3DS version, it does have stereoscopic 3D. Same thing with Mutant Mudds. They have stereoscopic 3D, but definitely a game to check out. And Streets of Red. Streets of Red was a game that I had seen a long time ago, and when I knew it was on here, I just like one of those games I knew I had to go and download and play. I know it's a game that's probably not going to get a physical release. It's too cheap. It's been out for a long time. It's one of those kind of old retro beat 'em ups, kind of maybe along the lines of like Mighty Final Fight. I guess I could say is probably the closest thing you could say it's compared to, and it was a really solid game. It's probably one of the only games that I paid at full price for, which I think was $10, and it was worth every penny. I loved it. I played through all the characters, beat the game. Very good game. No Reload Heroes, I think I paid under 10 cents for. It's one of those games where, hey, you can play 4 players. It was worth it picking it up for the pennies that I paid for it. Definitely go check it out. It's a pretty fun game. Pocket Rumble. Pocket Rumble has just what it says. It feels like a fighting game, kind of something along the lines of the Takara back in the day, like the old King of the Fighters 96 for like Game Boy. It feels like it has that quality to it, just kind of modernized, and it's a really solid game. Really nice sprite work, animations, the whole 10 yards on that one, 9 yards on that one, but definitely a game to look out for. What is this one? Siberian. Yeah, Siberian. I didn't get too far on this. One's a hard one to play. It's another retro inspired game. Definitely go check that out. Death is Coming. I think this is probably the only game that is on the basis is a cell phone game that when I seen it, I had to go and pick it up. It was really unique. I played through a good amount of that game. It's basically how many people can you kill, how can you kill them, and you get, you know, a rating for you know, zapping them in with electric or having a statue fall on them, and there's just people wandering around all over the place. And it was, even though it might have been a cell phone game, it was something that intrigued me and I had to go pick up. So definitely go check out Death is Coming, or Death Coming. Another one, we got Dynamite Fishing. I think I paid a penny for that, or it was free, and that was basically a fishing game with dynamite, and it was okay. It was nothing too extravagant, but I paid a few pennies for it, so go ahead and check that out. And then we got The Walking Vegetables, which is another roguelike game, and it's okay for the most part. It was another game that I didn't pay too much money for, so it was justified that it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's definitely a fun game. Go check that one out. The Way Remastered. I think I paid 5 cents for this one, and I think I was about an hour and a half into this one, and this was an incredible game. The only reason I haven't finished it, and I would have finished it, is if I didn't upgrade from the first version of the Switch to the version 2. Definitely something to go look at. The atmosphere, everything was great about it. It could have been a little bit better in I don't think I liked the laser on the gun, or there was something about that I didn't really care for too much. It felt a little cheap. But other than that, I was liking everything about that game, and it's definitely one to go look at. Crypt of the Necrodancer. Now, if you know anything about Crypt of the Necrodancer, you know that the developer just made the Hyrule... Cadence, one of the two, I can't remember, of Hyrule, which is basically Link, Zelda, all the characters set in Hyrule, but in Crypt of the Necrodancer fashion. And Crypt of the Necrodancer is a fantastic game. It's a very hard game, but it's definitely one to check out. And then, like I said, check out the Cadence of Hyrule. That is definitely a solid title. I've been waiting for that one to go on sale so I can snatch it up, but both these games are definitely ones to go check out. And then the last but not least is Burnstar. This was another puzzle-ish kind of game, and I can't tell you too much about it because I only spent maybe 20-30 minutes playing it, but it's another game that I paid pennies for. Any game that comes on the shop and they're 10 cents or under, if it looks halfway decent, I'll pick it up. And this is one of those games. I definitely recommend it if it goes on sale. Maybe not at the $2, $3, $4, $5 price point, but if it goes back on sale for, 20 cents or under, go ahead and pick it up. But that's going to wrap it up. That is my entire collection between physical and digital games that I have for the Nintendo Switch. I highly recommend this system to anybody who is a fan of retro gaming. Even if it's not retro gaming, there are a ton of games that you can go and sink your teeth into, but with games like Blasphemous coming out here in the next few months that currently right now is reservable off a limited run, and the games that are coming out here in the future, there is just so much quality video games that you just can't go wrong. It's something to look into if you're a fan of retro gaming. Not enough praise can be said about the Nintendo Switch. So definitely go check that out. I thank you guys for enduring through this whole 50-minute video of the 30 or so games that I got physically, 30 or so games I got digitally. I hope you enjoyed every little bit of it, and I hope you're a little bit more informed on what to actually go and pick up if you're looking into getting a Switch. And thanks a lot. See you guys again.